Hey, good morning, guys. You are back with the crew. Thanks for being here and all the kind comments. They're overwhelming, they're heartfelt, and they go straight through a guy. I had a few of them that I really like to bring up. I I have an incredible relationship with my son. My son and I are you know, however you want to look at the universe, but meant to be together. He's one of the more amazing people I've ever met in my life, and he just happens to be my son. And I know a lot of people say that about their kids in high praise, but anyone who's met the man understands he's something special, as we all are. Having said that, read many posts that were so kind about how I was like a father figure to many of them. I wish I could be, because a lot of people um, seem to really miss their dads, as most of those posts were about their father who had passed, and what little things I've said and little old man speak that I have said that reminds them of their past parents. But I received a post from a young lady, and sometimes as you get older, right, you either go one of two ways. You either become a crusty, old, cantankerous, grumpy guy, or you become soft and pliable, or whatever. English, I believe, is my second language, guys. Bear with me. I it's and you either go one of two ways, and I've clearly gone the soft direction. I read some of your posts, and they go right through me. This one was she was expressing the fact that she'd never had a father, or didn't know who he was, and had always dreamed and had always imagined a father being an incredible person. And it was uh, yeah, it it was a vision or a dream or a belief that she believed that she could have had, and maybe it made her a different person or woman today. And clearly, if she's found this channel and she's in crypto and this family and how tight we all are, she's done really well. So sometimes those negative beginnings in life, they can turn out to be real big positives. So thanks, girl, for the kind words. It's unbelievable. I can't even, yeah, like, don't send them too deep, because I do get choked up. I guess okay, I, I need to get to the subject here, because I like to try and keep my videos somewhat small, short. I have been following the Federal Reserve and their actions and what they've been up to for a very long time. I've never seen them slip up like they have recently. In the last 2 years, they've made blunders that were, honestly, if you look at their bylaws and their charter, that it's illegal what they did in 2020. And you can't, the Federal Reserve cannot buy, junk bonds. That's not part of the bylaws. But anyway, they did, and some things have really, the whole BlackRock, and there's so many moving parts. I really was going to do a deep dive on this whole thing, and I'm just going to sugarcoat over the top of this thing. They're in a rock and a hard place, and there's no question about it. And the rock is really hard, and they're dealing with that now. Anyone who lives overseas outside of the United States is dealing with that on a in their face basis. The UK, the pension plans, all of you are feeling the pain of what the Federal Reserve trying to change what they created. Now, let me get into why they're in big trouble. You can't stop inflation. Let me give a good analogy here, if I can come up with this. There's a ship leaves port 6 hours before the other ship. And that first ship leaves the port at 10 knots. Just so you guys know, 10 knots is about 10 miles an hour. The second ship leaves at 5 knots, 6 hours later at 5 knots. That second ship, as you and I know, will never catch the first ship. That's absolutely impossible, right? We know that. That's math. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to slowly turn the pain meter up to administer the pain slowly and gracefully to see until it breaks again to when they'll swing the other direction. It's not going to work like that. That's just not math, as I just explained in the analogy. It's never worked. That's why Paul Volcker had to go, I believe he went 2 percentage points in interest rates over the inflation rate at the time. Now, that's even if you believe their inflation rate numbers are accurate. That's a whole nother show. No, now we've created this situation that we're in. It's inflicting pain around the world. So you say, well, okay, when are they going to flip then, Alan? What? Well, give us the skinny on the flip. Okay, well, here's the deal. This is the thing that I wanted to talk about on Zach's channel that I didn't, and maybe I beat around the bush about it, but anyone that hasn't seen the show, I did an interview with Zach on Saturday. Zach Reactor, you can look him up. He's on YouTube. If you're an XRP fan, you probably already know exactly who he is. Also, just to say a little shout out to Zach, I was approached by many channels, and I looked at their content, and I looked at their staff, and I looked at what they wanted me to say. There were channels asking me to say things, and please, I'm not going there. And yeah, they had more subscribers maybe, but that's not the game I'm in here. We're not doing that game. We're doing people. I would rather have fewer subscribers and a tighter net family of faith and honesty in each other, and so that we can prosper together. So yeah, you can hear my dog in the background there. That's Bruno. Yeah, black-mouthed cur. Great dog. So let's get back to the subject, Al. By the way, this is all negative story so far. It ends well, so stick around. So what happens if they flip? Well, that's good for crypto, Alan, right? Oh, that's great. That's good for asset. Any asset should go up, right? Risk off. Risk on assets, risk off. Right, perfect. Let's do it. I'm going to paint a picture that's the exact opposite. And that opposite would go like this. Let's say they don't ever flip. Well, that's a long time ever. And eventually they'd have to. But I'm talking about 6 months, 2 years from now. They never flip. And they continually create more and more pain on the environment around them. And you say, well, at some point the people would rebel, right? Wouldn't they? They would just get tired of the pain and more pain. Well, let's go back 100 years. Right before the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, they, on Jekyll Island, they had a roller coaster economy. One day a biscuit would be 10 cents and the following day it'd be 35 cents. And the inflection and the economy going up and down constantly within months or every 6 months was a roller coaster ride that the people wanted to stop. Please make the pain go away. Well, that's why they adopted the Federal Reserve to control interest rates and the amount of money that got into T-bill treasuries, which was then sold to the banks globally. That brings me to the T-bill treasury part of this. Let's think about this. Nobody wants them anymore. Why would you buy a T-bill that pays 2 and 4 and 5% even, and your inflation is 10%? You're losing 5 to 6% annually on your money. Nobody wants these. They also don't want that debt because that's buying someone else's country's debt, the US's debt. And why would Japan want that? Why does China want that? They don't want it. They, they're done with that. They can't sell it. And the big thing there is those are bonds. I know now everybody's eyes are glassing over when I start talking about bonds. Bonds are done. Bonds are my generation. That's baby boomer and older. Nobody wants those. Nobody's purchasing those things. So you have to say, what are they doing? Why are they how are they propping this entire thing up? They're propping this entire thing up by purchasing the bonds themselves. This is going on through reasons that I can't really explain, backdoor transactions and whatnot to keep the whole thing afloat. What that's doing globally is creating a dollar that's going through the roof. It will continue and continue and continue until the point in which all the other currencies of the world will not be able to withstand the pressure of the dollar. And they'll say, I know what it's backed by. I don't care. It's ridiculous. It's just fiat, just like the currency that we have in Japan and China and everywhere else. It's not magical, and it's not backed by oil or gold any longer. So I'm done with it. I'm done playing your game. So what happens then to you and I? All of those dollars come home. All of, home being the US, okay? All of those dollars come back, flooding back into the United States, and they crush your real estate values, your gold values, your crypto values. All of these things are going to skyrocket with massive hyperinflation. Now, that's a good thing if you own those assets. It's a bad thing if they did a little easing and it shot up and you sold them and then you got out on the next hyperbolic swing that I'm talking about, and you got out and now you don't have your portfolio that you once did. Please don't ever sell all of your coins. In particular, the top 10 you have, you know, your XRPs, your Bitcoins, your whichever one you, there's going to be 10 to 50 winners in this that are all going to be fantastic coins to own, your XLMs and all of them. I'm a huge fan of Theta and many other tokens. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too miscombobulated. Why is that going to be good for you? Well, let's look back from 1913, what happened in the world in the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution created the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Fords, right? The JP Morgans of the world. They were created, okay? Those people were created through a company and a corporation, through a what I call a pyramid business. That pyramid business angle is dying. That's no different, and I think the last few of those pyramid business angles are the Mark Zuckerbergs, your Bezos, your Elon Musks, to where the billionaire was only the guy at the top. This is where you guys come in, and this is where we get to ride off in the sunset. This is the good part of the video. You get to hang on to your XRP tokens, or whichever ones you really love. Those tokens are the different business model and profile that I talk about in some of my past shows, and I will talk about in the future. You now own Ford Corporation. The Ford Corporation always paid dividends. Coca-Cola paid dividends to its shareholders. If you stake your tokens or proof of work and you have those tokens staking for the rest of your life, it's bringing you wealth for generations. That's the new business model. That new business model is the new tycoon of the future. No longer the pyramid of just Bezos becomes the billionaire in all of Amazon. Why? Because Amazon dropped 96% of its value, and he's the only guy that kept all those stocks. Difference is, when XRP drops down to 3 cents, you still need to hang on to those. That's not a prediction. I don't think that's going to be the case, but this is my point. Fluctuations happened right before the end, right at 1912, right before they adopted the Federal Reserve to make the pain go away. So when they decide to make the pain go away this time, I don't know, it could be 6 months, could be 6 years, I don't know. But when that day comes, you need to have tokens, because they'll flip the switch and you're going to want to own the future of business. The beauty of the crypto world and the new business model and profile that it created is you are the owner. There's 150,000 different owners of your token, maybe more. Sure, there's going to be one guy that owns way more than the rest of them, but you're all owners. It's completely different than stock, and I can't really get into that at this point. Long-winded way of saying, if the Fed flips and they start printing again, it's not what they do, but you get the point. If they ease money again, good for crypto. If they don't flip and they inflict pain to the point where they break the whole system, by the way, all the other currencies will break first. All the other countries, if you're outside the United States and you don't own gold or silver or crypto, you might want to look into why you don't. Not advice, not financial advice. It's a good hedge. It's a good security. It's no different than having a spare tire in your car in a long trip. It's a pretty good idea, right? If you're crossing a desert, you might want a spare tire. All right, guys. Sorry about all the dog barking and the rest of it. Hopefully it's clear and you got something from the video. I got so much about that subject that I really wanted to get off my chest, but there's a lot more to it. There's more stuff like that coming in this channel. I really appreciate everybody's warm felt thoughts. I feel it through the camera. It's amazing. I had no idea what YouTube brings to the provider. I didn't. I've always been on the other side, listening to YouTube content, going, wow, I'm getting all this great content. I didn't understand what you get in return to the level that I'm starting to understand now. I have a couple of really cool ideas for the next video, and I hope you guys check it out. With that, guys, I'm out.